No, sure. We're spending like $140 billion or so on SNAP, WIC, which is women, infants, and children to buy like formula, and then this thing called the Child Nutrition Program. Out of that 140 billion, 100 is in SNAP. Okay, so that's the overwhelming majority of it. On SNAP, there's 42 million people. All right. That comes out to, on average, $6.52 a day per person. That's it. And you mentioned something about you can get, for every dollar you spend, you get $1.80 in economic activity. The reason for that is because these places are so poor that putting that relatively small amount of money into that community has that multiplying impact on that community. That's how poor the places are that we're talking. If you put an extra $6 into everybody in New York City's hands, probably wouldn't make a whole bunch of a difference. But you put that in a place where 16, 20% of people are poor, living in poverty, you could see how it has an impact.
Look, you don't have to convince me that feeding hungry people is a great investment, especially when those people are Americans. But one statistic that I saw, and I saw a couple of different sources for this, but essentially folks are estimating that Walmart gets between 20 and 25% of every SNAP dollar. So if we're asking ourselves whether SNAP is good for the economy or not, I kind of see two arguments there. Either SNAP is kind of a failure because even though it does a great job of feeding people, what we're essentially doing is subsidizing Walmart's wages and creating a system in which they're incentivized to keep their workers from being full-time workers and keeping their salaries low so that they're not only getting that tax money directly from the taxpayer through the SNAP recipient, but then they're also, all their employers are SNAP recipients, and it just creates this feedback loop where they're essentially making money by creating poverty? Or is it that, look, the federal government is never going to get good